How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the channel. I'm John the Video Guy, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can create custom text bubble animations inside After Effects. What's really nice is that these text bubbles that I'm going to show you are reactive as well, so they will react to however long you make the text inside After Effects. Now if you want an easy template to use inside Premiere Pro, I did make a Mogert file template that you can download if you are a member of my Patreon. You can join in the link below. But otherwise, let's dive into After Effects and see how to create this template from scratch. So to get started, I'm going to go up to Composition, New Composition. I'm going to name my composition Text Message Conversation. And from the preset menu, I'm going to select a 4K preset. 29 frames a second is good for me, and then for the duration I'm going to leave it at 10 seconds. Now what I recommend doing, creating this from scratch, is get an example reference image from the internet of a text conversation. That way you have a reference for the colors and how it's supposed to look. Then what we're going to do is grab our rectangle tool and then click and hold down on it to select the rounded rectangle tool. This will enable the roundness, which we'll use later. Then what you'll want to do is just click on the fill color and then change it to the blue color from your reference photo. That way it matches. And then you can click and drag out a new shape inside the composition panel and get it kind of accurate to the first message. Once you're done, you can let go, and then we have our first shape. I'm going to grab my selection tool and just move this over to the right, side by side. That way we can see what's to the left and then make our edits to the right. So the first thing we're going to do is increase the roundness. So if you untwirl under controls, twirl down under rectangle 1, rectangle path 1, you'll see a roundness setting. You can increase that to get roundness. And then next we're gonna get our text tool and type out some text. And one note about the text is that you might want to get this font called San Francisco, which is the font that Apple uses for their text message. If you do want to download it, it is in the video description if you do want to check that out. So that's the font I'm going to use here. I'm going to make some adjustments to the size and also the leading. And then once I have it lined up, we're going to rename our layers. So I'm going to click on the box shape layer and I'm going to rename this message box. And then for the text message, I'm going to rename the text layer text message. This is going to be important a little bit later. Now to make it reactive, where when you change the text, the box reacts to it, we're going to use some expressions. And to keep things simple, I've provided the expression code down in the video description. So feel free to copy and paste that into these fields. So for part 1, we'll option click on the size stopwatch underneath rectangle path, and we'll just copy and paste our expression code for the sourceRectTime expression in here. One note though, when we go into the field, you'll just want to make sure, like I mentioned earlier, the text name is the same. So you can see text message inside that expression is matching. Then we'll do the same for the position. This is part 2. So we'll option click on the stopwatch next to position and we'll copy and paste our expression code in that box. And now when we replace it with new text, you can see that the box automatically resizes with the text. I'm going to close that out and then delete our reference image, and what we're going to do is recenter the anchor point. To do that, click on the layer and hover over the pan behind tool and then just hold down Command while double clicking, and that will center the anchor point to the layer. Do that for both layers, and then what we'll do is realign the position to be centered. So I'm going to click on the message box, go to my align panel, and then just horizontally and vertically align it. Do the same with the text layer as well. Now one other thing we have to do is add some padding to this box. You can see it just hugs right up against the text. And to easily do that, you can twirl down under contents and click the add button. You can add offset paths, and what this does, it basically offsets the path to expand it. So when you increase that value, you'll see that it adds some padding, and you can play with the roundness and the amount of offset paths to kind of get it looking correct. So now we have our finished look. What we're going to do is animate it, and the animation is pretty simple. What we're going to do is go up to Layer, New, Null Object. We're going to rename this null object Animator just to keep things simple. And what we'll do first is parent pick whip these 2 layers to that null object. We'll go out to about 15 frames or so, click P to bring up the position parameters, make a keyframe next to the Y position, and then what we're going to do is just pull it down a little bit at the beginning, and then we're going to select the other 2 layers, click T to bring up opacity, and then make the value 0, go out to 15 frames, and change it to 100. And now when we play this back, you'll see what we have. We can add some easy ease to the last keyframe of the position, then go to my graph editor and just fine tune it a little bit, and then this is what we have. So once we have our animation complete, what we can do now is pre-compose this and make it into a template. So select your layers and right click on them, go to pre-compose, and we'll type out message 1 as this will be the first message. Then click OK, and then you'll notice the pre-comp loaded in the project panel. We can duplicate that by hitting Command D, and then when we double click into message 2, we can make our adjustments. So we can click on the text, add in some new text. We can also change the background color of the message box to maybe the gray so it looks like it's the same color as if someone is responding to us. And then if we go back to our main comp and we drag in message 2 from the project window to the timeline panel, we can see we added in a new message. So we can bring up our position, reposition it underneath and kind of offset to the first message. We can select both of them here as well and just realign them to wherever we want on the screen. Now, one note is for the second message, you can offset it by just clicking and dragging the layer physically to the right in the timeline, and this will just offset the animation. And now we have a message thread. And you can obviously add to this to create more message bubbles for however long you need the conversation to go on for. So that's how you create this text bubble animation template inside After Effects. Like I said, if you want to download the Mogurt template from Premiere Pro, you can join my Patreon. But otherwise, I hope this tutorial was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.